There's something that happens when the world goes quiet, when the day has ended and the noise falls away, when you're alone with your thoughts and the darkness wraps around you like a familiar blanket. It's in those moments, dear one, that the veil between what you see and what truly exists becomes so thin you could almost reach through it. And tonight, I want to share with you a secret that has been hidden in plain sight for thousands of years. A secret that the ancient wise ones knew, that every mystic has whispered about, and that changes everything the moment you truly understand it. This isn't just another spiritual lesson. This is the key that unlocks every door you've been standing before, wondering why nothing opens. And the most beautiful part, you've had this key in your pocket all along. You see, I've spent my entire life studying the invisible laws that govern this universe, watching how they work in my life, and in the lives of countless others who have come to me, seeking answers. And what I've discovered is this: there is a moment each day when your power becomes almost unlimited, when your connection to the infinite becomes so clear that you can literally reshape your tomorrow while everyone else sleeps through their greatest opportunity. The ancients called it the sacred threshold. I call it the nightfall secret, because it happens in that precious space between waking and sleeping, between conscious thought and the vast intelligence that runs through everything. Now, I want you to understand something right from the start. What I'm about to share with you isn't about working harder or forcing anything to happen. It's the opposite. It's about understanding how this universe actually works, how your mind works, and how you can align yourself with the current that's already flowing toward everything you desire. You don't have to push the river, darling. You just have to stop damming it up with your worry and doubt and fear. And nightfall, that beautiful transition when day becomes night, holds the secret to how you do exactly that. You might be wondering why nightfall specifically. Why not morning when we're fresh and energized? Why not midday when we're at our peak? Let me tell you something that will change how you see everything. Your conscious mind, the part of you that worries and plans and tries to figure everything out, that part gets tired. All day long it's working, analyzing, protecting, questioning. But at night, as you begin to drift towards sleep, something magical happens. That guard dog of consciousness starts to rest, and the gate to your subconscious mind, the part of you that's directly connected to infinite intelligence, that gate swings wide open. And whatever you place in your subconscious mind during this time goes in without resistance, without the usual arguments and doubts. It sinks in like seeds into freshly tilled soil. And while you sleep, those seeds begin to grow roots in the invisible realm where everything in your physical world is first created. I always tell my students, if you're going to worry in bed, you might as well pray instead. Both are using your imagination, but only one is planting flowers instead of thorns. The subconscious mind doesn't judge what you give it. It doesn't say, oh, that's just anxiety, I'll ignore that. Or, this is a lovely affirmation, I'll prioritize this one. No, my dear, it takes everything. It's completely impartial, like soil. Soil doesn't care if you plant roses or poison ivy. It will grow whatever seed you give it with equal dedication. That's why the minutes before sleep are so precious, so powerful, so absolutely sacred. You're not just relaxing. You're not just winding down. You're programming the very consciousness that runs your life while you're not paying attention. You're instructing the silent partner who's working all night on your behalf. Think about this for a moment. While you're sleeping, your heart keeps beating, doesn't it? Your lungs keep breathing. Your body keeps healing cuts, fighting infections, growing hair, renewing cells. You're not consciously doing any of that. Something intelligent within you is running the whole operation. That same intelligence, that same power that's keeping you alive without any conscious effort from you. That's what's listening when you speak to your subconscious mind before sleep. And it wants to help you. It's designed to help you. But it can only work with the instructions you give it. If the last thing you do before sleep is rehearse your problems, complain about your day, worry about tomorrow, or replay every frustrating conversation you had, you're giving that magnificent power, a blueprint of more problems, more frustration, more lack. You wouldn't hand an architect a blueprint of a crumbling house and say, build me this exact disaster, would you? Of course not. Yet that's precisely what most people do every single night with their subconscious mind. They give. It detailed plans of everything they don't want, and then wonder why their life keeps constructing the same painful patterns. Your subconscious doesn't judge. It doesn't say, oh, she's just venting, I won't take this seriously. It takes everything seriously. It's recording, accepting, and beginning to manifest whatever you've impressed upon it in those final conscious moments before sleep. I've watched this play out 1,000 times. A woman comes to me and says, I affirm abundance every morning, but nothing changes. And I ask her, what's the last thing you think about at night? And almost always the answer is the same. Bills she can't pay, conversations that went wrong, fears about the future, resentment towards someone who hurt her. She's spending 2 minutes in the morning planting seeds of prosperity, and 2 hours every evening watering weeds of worry. You cannot spend your final waking moments in lack and expect to wake up in abundance. You cannot fall asleep rehearsing rage, action, and expect to wake up surrounded by love. You cannot drift off cataloging your failures and expect your subconscious to build you a success. The law is absolute. What you impress upon your subconscious in that sacred twilight moment becomes the foundation of tomorrow's reality. This is why the ancients knew to pray before sleep. This is why every spiritual tradition has evening rituals. They understood something we've forgotten in our modern rush. The threshold of sleep is a portal of power. It's when the gate between your conscious wishes and your subconscious creative force swings wide open, and whatever you send through that gate will be brought back to you in physical form. Now I'm going to tell you exactly what happens in those precious moments before sleep. Because this is the mechanism you must understand. Your conscious mind, that busy, chattering, doubting voice, it begins to dim like a lamp running out of oil. The rational guards who say impossible and be realistic, Saint Art to yawn and drift away from their posts. And underneath, always there, always listening, is your subconscious mind. That faithful servant who never questions, never doubts, never argues. It simply says, yes, master, what you decree I shall create. This is why what you think about in the last minutes before sleep is infinitely more powerful than 1,000 thoughts you have at noon. At noon, your conscious mind is there to argue with your declarations. I am prosperous, you say, and immediately comes the rebuttal. But look at your bank account. At noon, you're divided against yourself. But at the threshold of sleep, there is no argument. There is only impression. Think of your subconscious mind as a dark room for developing photographs. If you want a beautiful picture to appear, you don't walk into that dark room with the lights blazing, do you? No, you enter in the proper state with the proper conditions, and you allow the image to develop. The moments before sleep are your dark row. What image are you developing there? I knew a woman who came to me in despair. Her husband had lost his position. They were behind on every bill, and she was spending every night rehearsing their disasters as she fell asleep. We'll lose the house, she'd think. Well beyond the street. What will we tell the children? Night after night, she was painting these pictures on the walls of her subconscious mind, and naturally her days grew darker and darker. She was actually creating what she feared. I told her, my dear, you're working against yourself with the strength of 10 men. Stop. Tonight, no matter what the day has brought, you will paint a different picture as you drift off. See your husband joyful in perfect work. See the bills marked paid. See yourself secure and peaceful. She protested as they always do. But that's not true. That's lying to myself. And I said, what you've been doing, is that the truth? Or is it just fear wearing a mask of reality? You're imagining either way. Why not imagine something useful? You know what most people do? They imagine failure with HD clarity. They rehearse disappointment like they're preparing for Broadway. They can describe exactly how things will go wrong, what people will say, how embarrassed they'll feel. But ask them to imagine success with the same detail. Suddenly they go vague. Oh, I don't want to jinx it. There's no such thing as jinxing. There's only what you're feeding with your attention. A woman came to me once terrified of an upcoming presentation. She'd imagined it going wrong so many times she could taste the humiliation. I said, wonderful imagination you've got there, now use it properly. We flipped it. She imagined walking into that room with certainty. She saw faces lighting up as she spoke. She felt the satisfaction of nailing every point. She practiced success as thoroughly as she'd practiced failure. The presentation, standing ovation, not because she suddenly became a different person, but because she finally let herself imagine what she actually wanted. Your imagination is the preview. The universe is just confirming your selection. You're not predicting the future when you worry, you're requesting it. Here's what shifts everything. When something you don't want pops into your head, don't fight it. Just notice it and redirect. Oh, there's that fear again. Interesting. Now, here's what I'm actually choosing, and pivot to the image you want. Do it gently, like you're just changing the channel, because that's all it is. Your mind will show you whatever channel you keep tuning into. Worry is just a channel. So is confidence. Neither is more real until you make it real by watching it on repeat. And before you say this sounds too simple, remember you're already doing this. You're already imagining all day long. You're already creating with every thought. The only question is whether you're doing it deliberately or by default. Most people are running on default settings. Childhood programming, cultural hand-me-downs, other people's fears downloaded directly into their mental software. But you get to choose what you install. You get to select what runs in the background. Every single day, you're either reinforcing the old patterns or creating new ones. And here's what most people don't understand. The universe doesn't reward struggle. It rewards alignment. It rewards the person who can hold the image of success while standing in the reality of not yet. That's the skill nobody teaches you. How to feel rich before the money comes. How to feel loved before the person appears. How to feel successful before anyone acknowledges it. I worked with a woman who was trying to manifest a new home. Beautiful vision boards, daily affirmations, all of it. But every time she walked into a cramped apartment, she complained. Every single day. This place is too small. I hate these walls. When will I finally get out of here? I said to her, "Darling, you're pushing away the very thing you're asking for." She looked confused. So I explained, the universe is listening to your dominant vibration, not your wish list. Right now you're broadcasting resentment and lack every single day. That's your signal. That's what you're asking for more of. The shift happened when she started treating her small apartment like it was already the palace. She bought flowers. She cleaned with gratitude. She said thank you to those walls she used to hate. Within 3 months, an unexpected opportunity appeared. A friend of a friend needed someone to house sit a beautiful property, then eventually offered to sell it to her at half the market price. Magic? No, alignment. When you align with what you want, you become a magnet for it. When you resist where you are, you create friction, and friction slows everything down. So here's your practice. Stop waiting for permission to feel how you want to feel. Stop waiting for the evidence to show up before you believe. The belief creates the evidence, not the other way around. You want confidence? Act confident today. You want abundance? Treat your current resources like they're precious. You want love? Stop walking around with your heart closed, protecting yourself from disappointment. The door you're guarding so carefully is the same door your blessing is trying to enter through. Your subconscious doesn't care about your dreams, your vision boards, or your carefully written intentions. It only cares about what you actually believe when no one's watching. It's listening to the conversations you have with yourself at 3 a.m. It's recording the little comments you make about money when you pay your bills. It's absorbing the way your body tenses up when someone mentions the thing you say you want. You can't fool it. You never could. This is why people manifest the exact things they claim they don't want. They say they want financial freedom, but their subconscious has been programmed with money is hard to keep and people lick. Me don't stay wealthy. They say they want a healthy relationship, but their subconscious is running. I always get hurt and love never lasts for me. Your subconscious is a faithful servant. It will move heaven and earth to prove your deepest beliefs right. So here's what you do. You start noticing what you actually believe, not what you wish you believed. You catch yourself in those moments when the real programming reveals itself. When you see a price tag and immediately think, I can't afford that. You've just discovered a belief. When someone compliments you and your first internal response is disbelief, you found another one. These aren't just thoughts, they're orders you're giving to the universe. Now, You don't change these beliefs by fighting them. You don't stand in the mirror and scream affirmations at yourself while your subconscious rolls its eyes. You change them the same way they were installed in the first place, through repetition, feeling, and acceptance. You want a program for wealth? Stop treating money like it's a problem to solve, and start treating it like it's a friend you're getting to know better. Watch how you speak about it. Notice when you're coming from lack versus when you're coming from curiosity and openness. You want to reprogram for love. Stop checking your phone every 5 minutes wondering why they haven't texted. Stop scanning every interaction for signs of rejection. Start assuming you're already loved, already chosen, already enough. When you walk into a room, you're not looking to take, you're looking to give. You're radiating something warm and real. You're asking yourself, how can I make this person feel seen? Instead of how can I make them like me? And here's what's wild. That shift changes everything because neediness repels. But presence is magnetic. You become someone people want to be around. Not because you're performing or proving, but because you've stopped demanding that they fill your empty spaces. Now, I'm not saying become a doormat. I'm not telling you to ignore red flags or tolerate disrespect in the name of high vibration. Boundaries are spiritual. Knowing your worth means knowing when to walk away. But there's a difference between protecting your peace and building walls out of fear. There's a difference between having standards and having a checklist that no human could ever meet. Your standards should reflect what you genuinely need to feel safe and respected, not what you think will make you look valuable to others. And when someone shows you they're not aligned, you don't chase, you don't convince, you don't twist yourself into knots trying to make it work. You bless them, you release them, and you trust that what's meant for you won't require force. The universe doesn't bring you love by making you smaller. It brings you love by making you more yourself. So stop auditioning, stop performing, stop trying to earn what's already yours by divine right. You were born worthy of love, not because of what you do, but because of what you are. A soul, a miracle, a once-in-all-of-history combination of stardust and spirit. The people who are meant to love you will see that. They won't need you to convince them. They won't make you beg for crumbs of affection while they decide if you're good enough. They'll show up, they'll stay, they'll choose you the way you've been choosing yourself all along. And until they do, you keep choosing you. You keep watering your own garden. You keep living like someone who knows their worth doesn't depend on being picked. Because, beloved, you're not waiting to be chosen. You're just giving the right person the privilege of joining what you've already built.